Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, December the 28th, 2022, and it's a joy to be able to share some principles from the Word of God with you today. I'm Pastor Mike Custer, pastor at Bible Baptist Church in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and this morning we're going to begin this text that most people know pretty well in Proverbs 31 about the virtuous woman. And the introduction to this section is verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? And this is simply stating that a woman who has virtue, particularly a wife and a mother who's virtuous, is extremely valuable in the world in which we live. And sadly, this kind of woman often is not recognized for the value that she actually brings to that home, to that relationship, to the lives of those whom she enriches. But she ought to be. Who can find a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies. She ought to be valued. She ought to be treasured. She ought to be protected. She ought to be stood up for and pampered a little bit. She's a very valuable asset to the home. And may God help us to appreciate such godly women in our life. If God's given you a virtuous woman for a wife, thank God for her. If God's given you a virtuous woman for a mother, thank God for her. And be very appreciative of the value that she has in this world. There are too many women in our world today who don't have the right focus on life and on the things of God, and they are very frivolous, and they are very selfish and self-satisfied and self-minded, and they're not valuable at all. They raise children who are just like them, who are selfish, who are self-focused, and they are the continual plague to a husband who really wants to lead his family in the right way. If you've got a good, godly, virtuous wife, thank God for her. She's very, very valuable in your life and in your home. And treat her kindly and treat her patiently and treat her well. Because what would you do without her? What would you do without that wonderful woman that God has given to you to share your life? God help you today.